Prince Wadix, Prince Wadix, Prince Wadix. Pa pou a wete ba moun flè la yo moj a kite la vi. Aprisye sa yo ka fè ko yo a pa mi nou jodi. La se mouve vale fè non nou ka krusife moun evi. Fò nou konnen pou me yo se pou nou tout sa benefis. For only wonders you done for us all, spreading the culture all over the world. For all the good thing that you done for God, that's what it is. We thanking you.
Dominica, good morning, Eastern Caribbean. Welcome to another special Creole Heart Beat program. And it's a pleasure to be in your company. A little late today, and that's because of a very special function in South City, Grand Bay, the multi-purpose facility to house several activities, including the well-known season that we're in, those days that you have to be prepared. And we really had to actually go across to South City Grand Bay. So we're coming across to the city now because we have a very special guest, a very special guest today, and that's Shelly Alfred, and he's the lead singer of the group Signal Band. And not only that, he has gone way back from his high school days as the professor, dominated the Calypso arena, tried the big league, and possibly could have got to the coveted title, but decided to move across to playing music as a musician. Started with the Triple K, and then did his thing both with Triple K and with Signal, and then migrated. Harvard University celebrant. It's a pleasure to have Shelly in the building. Good morning to you, bro. Good morning.
Yeah, man. Good morning to you, Wadix, and good morning to Ambassador Prince Wadix, and good morning to all the listeners and the viewers of Creole Heart Beat and DBS Radio. It's a pleasure to be here, man.
Absolutely. By the way, you're celebrating your 15th anniversary.
Yes, and we're not just celebrating, but we're celebrating today.
Today is the day.
Today is the day.
What? This is divine, man.
On this day, August 20th, 15 years ago, we performed our first event as Signal Band.
Wow. So what would you like to say to the other members and the fans and everyone who has really, held the group together?
Honestly, you guys are the real reason. You guys are the reason why this lasted and this group evolved over time, because we went through different phases and, we got stronger. We went through hurdles. We went for scandals. But we also went for very beautiful moments, and those are the ones that we want to reflect on this 15th year. And to reflect on the beautiful moments. On Sunday, we had a beautiful boat cruise, 15 and cruising, and it was great to see our fans just have a good time amongst each other and enjoy the music from way back when to now. We brought back the catalog and we gave them a good show.
Absolutely. So we want to. I guess you're missing happy birthday before we leave.
maybe.
But then, I'm Shelly. We also saw a victorious Dominica on the 14th team doing one of your hits. When we shoot, we hit the target.
That's it.
How that made you feel? And I know you want to congratulate the girls because so far 4 out of 4.
Yes, trust me. And just yesterday, Jelani, our manager, is an athlete and a sports enthusiast.
Yeah.
And just yesterday, we were just talking about especially where sports is concerned, when our athletes and our teams do well, we find like the celebration is not as loud as when they do bad.
I know.
And just yesterday, Johnny was telling me that, and we were talking about it, and so we want to commend the girls, on doing so great out there, and thank them for celebrating it for our song, and we're happy to see that. That's the reason we do the music. Actually, we always do the music so that it can go beyond the stage, it can go beyond the radio, everywhere. So we want people to consume it in all settings. When they celebrate, when they get married, when they lose somebody, the music just spreading across all spectrums, and we're happy to see that for sure.
Absolutely. Let's get to the meat of our reason why we're here today, and it's ready to get a feel of you, Shelly, Signal Band, the work that you've been doing over the last 15 years. Leading a band requires more than just talent. Signal Band is not just a band, it's an institution. You do several other things, and this for Carnival, you're actually a stakeholder. What is the position of the band presently?
Well, You say
I call it an institution.
You call it an institution. You call it an empire.
An empire. Wow. I love that. Elaborate a little.
You know, we want to get into the empire phase. To be honest, you know, as musicians and creatives, one of the things we stand on in Signal Band is sustainability. You know, sustainability of that livelihood, because music, as it comes, it goes, is one, but also there is no set in place pension plan and a retirement plan. You have to create that for yourself, you know. And from a very, very young age, you know, and to come in the management, you know, Jelani really is the one that was instrumental in us thinking about long term, and not was, but still is, you know. Like, Jelani is literally a save today to see a better tomorrow individual. That's how we wired, you know. And I think, like, a lot of the things that we see happening now were like very tender conversations of Jelani and myself from since we were in SMA.
Wow.
You know, and like things like costume ban and all of that, like, yeah man, we must do a costume ban, you know, and those were conversations from since back then. And to see that materialize now, because a lot of times we used to say when we have the money and when we have the financial backing, and I feel like now we have so much more than it's beyond the money and the financial backing right now. We got blessed. We have the blessings of the Almighty Father. We have a lot of support from our fans. We have great support from the corporate community as well, and we have a great team. So that formula now allows us to then build that empire, and Signal Band running in so many different sections right now and in different ways.
Tell us about the different sections and the different ways.
Well, I don't want to fully, you know, expose our business model. Yeah. You know, we have a very unique business model. I know for sure that we are the only band that operates the way that we do. But what I will firstly say is that today, every single Signal Band member on stage is fully employed by Signal Band only.
Okay, so you're 100% professional.
100% professional business.
Wow.
And, you know, if we don't play this month, members will collect a salary.
They still collect a salary.
We don't need to play to get paid.
It's like retainer vibes,
and you know, everything else is a top up.
This is very interesting, and I find I really want to commend you guys for taking that particular approach, and I really do hope it can, you know, lead to tremendous dividends for the band. Just your whole approach to everything seem to be on a different level, prepared. Is it because of your formal training as an architect? I mean, how do you balance the both?
Well, you know, I don't even see it as just particularly or specifically the architecture, you know. It might be part of it, but I think just the idea of formal education or education on a whole is so critical, and I feel like it's underestimated by musicians, you know. And I've always said I'm not asking all musicians to go to Harvard and get a master's degree, but they have to see that aspect of education as being important all along their journey as a creative, because a lot of times we just think that the job is to just go in the studio and what come to our mind, you know, whether we maybe under the influence of other substances and you know, that maybe that influence the creative process and all of that, but that is not the bottom line. You know, the bottom line is the same way somebody else might have a supermarket and they put things on they buy stuff, they put it on their shelf to resell, and they try to make a profit, and they try to have to cover the expenses and to maybe leave some sort of generational wealth for their future, their children and all other family members. That's how we should see the music. And once you start opening up that in that way, then you start to value education, because you cannot move without the act of knowing. You have to know. Knowledge is power, and every conversation, every YouTube link is an educational tool, you know. It's not just about going and sit down in a classroom. And for me, I was fortunate to have been in the classroom, and you know, I value all that I've learned in the classroom. I think going to design school was probably the best thing that I've done in my life, because I don't see it as, well, Harvard doesn't have an architecture school. Harvard is a graduate school of design, and the degree come out if it's an architecture degree, but I believe there was so much more that was learned beyond architecture, and both technical skills that I apply today with Signal Band,
Wow.
but also just like soft skills, how to just leadership skills, leadership qualities, running a business. Harvard told us they were not teaching us to go and work for people. They were teaching us to be the bosses, to be the leaders, to be the leaders of the industry, to change the world. That's the kind of conversations that were happening there, and that's why when people see me do things such on a grand scale with my team, a lot of times they doubt it. I've had moments where people doubt that we were the ones hosting certain things that we hosted, just because they themselves in their capacity wouldn't even think of doing that. And at such young ages, we could have thought of making those steps.
I mean, were there any doubts, Shelly, within this 15 years? Because Signal Band is really hitting its pinnacle right now, but they have been around for a while now.
Yeah.
Were there any doubts during that particular journey, where you felt, boy, should I give up on that? Because we also knew that you actually played guitar for another Booyah band.
Right.
But then were there any doubts in your mind that Signal could have actually reached to the level they are on presently?
Naturally there were the tough nights, the tough mornings where, you're just stuck in your feelings. And if you don't do that, honestly, you don't really get in touch with your sense of self and actually think of, okay, how am I going to get out of this moment? So there were definitely rough days and rough nights. I don't know if it ever led to like saying, let us give up, to be honest. The give up part is really, like, that's the most extreme. It feels sort of suicidal to the career. And I always know that the people around me were very talented. Especially our founding members from the moment we started this thing, Darren, Donnell, myself, and the rest of the people. Darren, Donnell, myself spent a lot of our days together, a lot of our nights together. We used to make daybreaks. At that time, we had no jobs, especially in the summer. We just make music all night, or sometimes we just chill. And because I know that the talent that they had, I myself have always believed in that. So, but I think where the translation got a bit difficult is that we were bringing something different to the table, and that took a while to get accepted by the general public. And while we have been strategic over the years, and we have done things such as, because as you say, that the formal educational training and all that, I used to write songs with proper grammar. And small changes such as getting a little more colloquial in the music, infusing a little Creole now and then, and thinking about what is our reflection as a people, how do we speak? Because we speak generally a Creole. Exactly, we speak.
Because English, there's lots of, I only got aware of that. I speak to quite a bit of our Nigerian, African friends, and they are amazed at how we speak.
Right.
With garçon, which is Creole, in between, and we ourselves not even realizing.
That's coming out.
And every time I would speak, they would tell me, "Yes, you see this. That's what that's word, Creole. That's not an English word." And we are not even conscious of the way we speak, which is a unique way of expressing ourselves. So you kind of forgotten about the grammatical structure of your songs, and you decided to go to meet the people where they are.
Yeah, man. And honestly, I didn't even go full way and meet the people where they are. I think I went halfway. Because I still want there to be a sort of polished view of Booyah music. I want there to be a very high quality, high definition view of Booyah music. So I didn't just go and meet them. I went about, I don't know if I went half, I don't know if it's 50-50, but I know we met somewhere along the way where I told them, like, I'm going to come to you, but you have to come to me a little bit and understand where we're coming from. And honestly, that is appreciative, because in a world where now the music that trends in Dominica or in the Caribbean, kind of the formula is, it has to be kind of simple. It has to be simplified, it has to be very straight to the point. And it's just interesting that Shelly and Signal Band were able to keep the substance in the music and still be trending, because everybody right now is after a trend. Everybody's trying to be trending, and while trends are short-lived, they have the benefits.
Absolutely.
And people wonder, I got that question asked at the last Creole Music Festival. A Trinidad media outlet asked us, with the trending of Nasty Business and all the music that we hear out of Dominica. Shelly, like, how do you guys stay at the top of the game?
Relevant.
And
up your game.
Up the game, yeah.
And
that's just interesting because while people, I feel like the same people that consume Nasty Business and the other types of bouillon, they have an appreciation for Signal Band, and where that appreciation comes to play?
Well,
when they're outside of the events, when they're not drinking alcohol, when they're not consuming any other substances, which to me,
are you saying that to consume Nasty Business, we have to be fully hydrated?
To a certain extent, and the Nasty Business artists understand. Well, I hope they understand that limitation.
Yeah.
And they're that's not the only genre in the Caribbean that is, or in the world that happens for.
Yeah.
There are a lot of like genres and underground genres that people know that is for a certain setting.
And you have to be fully loaded.
And
fully loaded.
I think Nasty Business is consumed best when you're fully loaded.
You can't be normal.
Because it's a mood.
It's a mood. It's a mood. According to the younger people, it's a vibe.
It's a vibe. So
you have sacrificed tremendously, Shelly. What stage are you within your profession and the business? You said a while ago you are 100% now professional. Are you still full-time on your job, or you possibly halfway, part-time, considering taking a break from your full-time job and just music for a while?
Well, music is the full-time job.
Music is your full-time job now.
I even beyond saying music, I see it as entertainment because it's not even just about the music anymore. Like, while I was going to school, my mother can tell you, I mean, she's still not happy about the way I went about it, but I took, let's just say, 5 figures. That's the amount of thousands. 5 figures.
Wow.
Of money that was there for my education. That was before I even got to doing my master's degree. And I invested it in illumination.
Wow.
And I say
5 figures. That's a sacrifice.
Yeah, that's a sacrifice.
5 figures that was there for your education. You took it and invested it into music.
Yes.
Are you satisfied with the dividends?
Boy, I am happy. I would do that again. Wow. If I had 6 figures, I would do it.
Wow. The 66 coming, man.
If mommy...
if it's not there yet, it's on the way.
Yeah, if mommy had put a little 6 figures aside for me, I'd do it. I mean, she was hesitant, and I remember I was in the US while it was happening, and all she had to do was sign that check for Jelani, and boy, run around. Because now you find that idea not sitting down well. And eventually I spoke to her about it. And the interesting thing about life is, I promised that we were going to replace it and maybe more, like at the moment. And we never did that.
Yeah.
We never, obviously, the first years go of stuff. But the point is, like, even after that moment, my mother realized that things were changing. Like she saw the investment. She saw whether it was long term or she didn't, or short term. She saw that it was gonna be worth it. We created something that was sustainable, and it was worth it in the end. I mean, she's been throwing her support. One thing, I mean, education is very important for her, but she threw her support behind my music the same way, and she was there from the first nomination, and she supported 100%, and she always there.
So. That's very interesting because degree is always there.
Yeah.
And right now you feel at that point in your life going 100% professional is what you feel that you can maximize your impact now. But in any event of a change in the whole business,
right,
you have your degree to fall back on, which is always wise to be educated.
Yeah, I mean, my main goal with going to school, like at a very young age, was to not have to pause at any time when I feel like the journey is in full steam. Yeah. And say, boy, let me go and get a little certificate or something.
You get it first.
I get that first. And one of the reasons why I'm happy I got that is because I can see how that education is helping in how I see music. It's not like I feel like, boy, me going 100% in music is by no means a regret of the years that I put into formal education. Like I can use that, I can say I am doing music, I'm qualified, as much as I'm not qualified, it's not a master's degree in music I have, but just because...
You feel that way because of your degree in architecture.
Architecture, yeah.
And mainly because, I mean, a discipline is a discipline, and education allows you to open several avenues for you. And that is key, and I guess that's one of the main lessons. Get educated first, and if you want to go into music, you always have that education that you could fall back on. Shelly, I want us to delve into the festival. You have been a spectacle thus far, and it started slow, and for those who don't know, you started at the forecourt.
Yes.
And now you are a staple and possibly one of the major attractions at the World Creole Music Festival. How you view this year, which is a unique year, or jubilee year, 25 years of the World Creole Music Festival. How you see this year?
Well, this year is emotional because, seeing the journey of Signal Band and then seeing the journey of the festival, I kind of also like the way that they've been marketing the festival. The Jubilee year is one, but also I get to see something that I haven't really studied before, is seeing all the lineups from the festivals from all the years before. And that is when you start to really understand the purpose of the festival. I think by default we're doing our thing and, giving our best representation of the culture and the way of life. But when you understand the history of the lineups and stuff, and you start to see what the mission was early on, then you understand that celebrating 25, is powerful. 25 years is a lot of years. So celebrating 25 years
successfully,
is very important. And some people still don't understand the purpose of the festival on a general level. And I think the onus on everybody, on us, on all of us, to kind of make them understand that. And I think this is the year to make them understand it.
Signal is going to excel this year.
Of course.
One of the staples, one of the names when the dust is settled, one of the names, two free names you'll be hearing the Signal Band.
Of course, yeah, and that was actually big of the Minister of Tourism. That was actually said by the Minister of Tourism after we had a little post-mortem. After it was a post-mortem with all acts and all of that, and she and her team was just saying, like, every time the dust settles, every time we're talking top 2, top 3 performances, and it's not a competition, but anytime something is memorable, you will remember it.
Absolutely.
So, that we were just talking about how Signal names, and it's not just, we're not saying, boy, among the local acts, Signal did that, is among
all the acts.
All the performances at the festival.
Because you have even grew across the Caribbean now.
Right.
And a major celebrity, you have celebrity status now in several Caribbean islands.
Right.
That you have grown to that particular level. I mean, St. Kitts was just, something else.
Right.
So you have been moving by leaps and bounds. But then it is very important. The World Creole Music Festival has been called the mirror of Dominica's soul. Do you feel artists have a duty to use this platform not just for entertainment, but for cultural storytelling and diplomacy, which is very important? It is our highest platform. It is our highest stage, and possibly maybe one of the highest stage in the Caribbean.
Right.
Do you feel that bands, artists, musicians use it well, enough to do what they have to do, up their game, and even use it for diplomacy and getting their game to a different level?
Yeah, I think for the most part, you can tell that a lot of artists and bands, the World Creole Music Festival is not their average performance. And I see that two ways. One way, I like it. In another way, it makes me worried sometimes, because I wish we can carry that level of performance for the entire year.
Yeah.
But the festival is very important, and I still like to see that extra effort. I just appreciate the extra effort that all the actors put on, to entertain professionally with diplomacy, and to understand that it's not just Dominicans in the crowd. We, even if the other audience, the other demographics in the audience and people from different places, we welcome them to Dominica. We tell them other things about Dominica that they need to know. We put on that ambassador hat once we hit that stage, because we at that time representing everything Dominican. At that time, and by default the music that we play is 100% Dominican, so that almost is like the least of the worries. The music gonna translate, but then you have to connect to the audience and really sell the island, sell yourself, and that, I think that has been happening, man. I wouldn't really look down on any Dominican act for what they have done on the
How
festival.
you describe your brand of bouillon?
I don't have a one word description for it as yet.
Yeah, because you know, there's an evolving or trending, let's say, style of or styles of bouillon. Nasty Business is one. Then we saw Little Boy and Trilogy, you know, and so on, moving to a different level. But Signal has basically maintained the particular
Right.
standard, and some may see in the standard or the footsteps of, let's say, a WCK style. What is, you know, what makes Signal Band different from any other bouillon band and any other Caribbean band?
I still, you know, lyrical craft is one, but I that word I used earlier, but the polish, like the music is polished in a certain way that just makes it attractive and
Palatable.
The
And
music,
it transcends
the music
boundaries
is like
from
a movie.
from the toddler
Yes.
to the centenarian.
It's like a movie that is rated E for everyone.
Yeah.
You know, and that, honestly, we cannot underestimate how powerful that is, because basically we just open every single door. Basically, every time we release a song, every single door is open, because the youths in that, the middle age in that, the gangsters in that, the politicians in that, the elderly in that, and to me, like, what more you want when you really open up your music? And I always say, like, Signal is blessed because we, you know, people say that, boy, Signal music is like, you know, it's full of substance and whatever, and you know, you can consume that when you're at home and you're really trying to internalize and whatever. But you know what, Wadix? We still mashing up the feds.
I know.
We still mashing up the feds with that same music.
Were you ever tempted at one point in time to be distracted by the other trending forms of bouillon music?
No. Honestly, I collaborate with these artists just because I know them, number one, beyond the music. You know, I also know the importance of just still, you know, the cross-pollination of the demographics, like their fan base. There is something about my fan base that they need, and there is something about their fan base that I need. But I can do that without doing their music. You know, we just collaborating and making good music and whatever, and I've never felt...
Is it something you feel that when you retire and have your children, grandchildren, that you want to be proud of the work that you put in when you were a musician, instead of just looking at the face value of the money, the dollar now, and what that can make the dollar now, or living a legacy of educating and motivating and mobilizing?
That was the word I was going to use. Legacy is not about what happens now.
Yeah.
You know, we do things now to pay the bills and make ourselves happy while we're there. But the reality is there are more years that exist outside of life, pretty much like after we die and before we were born, than, you know, the amount of years that we will live on the earth. So let's just say we live to see 10 or even a century. You know, there are so many years that the earth will go on beyond that, and the goal is for the music to live on beyond that. And you know, I don't want my music to be stuck in a particular time, and that is one of the dangerous or the risk with following trends. You know, trends belong to a time, but good music will live on forever. And we have seen it in some of the Kadas Lipsu songs, which still continues to resonate. By Your Love continues to play at any... By Your Love, rock the button on Sunday.
I saw some... I saw the images and
body language.
You know, I saw the images. Groovy Bouillon music has sort of been revolutionized, and there's a time and place for the faster, hard driving, high voltage music we seem to favor here in Dominica. But when you look at outside of the other genres, when you look at Latin music, we have seen that's now gone to bachata. If you look at compa, it is more now compa love. It used to be zouk shiwe, zouk beto, it is now zouk love. Even reggae dancehall still now, there's a lot of love in between now. How important it is for Signal Band, alongside the high voltage, faster stuff, to have a catalogue of the groovy bouillon?
Very important, and I will put up my hand and say, I find we lapsing.
Yeah.
You know.
And I even forget soca. Soca used to be high, party more.
Yeah.
But now it is more groovy.
Yeah.
How are we lapsing?
I think we lapsing because we don't understand the value of variety right now. Variety in any music genre is gonna be important because no two audiences are the same, no two people are the same, and people consume different things differently. And I just yesterday we were having a meeting with Jelani, myself, and Dunel, our keyboardist, lead keyboardist producer, and we were talking about our repertoires, and I was like, I know over the past years, Signal we've kind of been intentional about the boom boom boom. We put a little effort into that for a reason, because we realized it was a weakness of ours. We realized that, boy, you're wrong, everybody's screaming Signal Band, and when we come on the road on Carnival, Signal Band, I tell people behind me. And I say this has to stop.
And 2025 was the year to correct.
And you have to come good, you have to come correct. And honestly, is strategy. So we sat and thought about the strategy. And this year, I mean, it has been in phases over the past couple of years, but this year was maybe the best representation of that. So what I told the guys is, what I was telling Donnell yesterday is that mission accomplished. People realize that Signal Band can mash up the road. Signal Band can deliver high energy. Signal Band can bring rhythm if we want. I tell him straight up, in our performances, we have to give that variety. We have to break down the show sometimes, and that will set us apart. Break down the show.
Thinking of Japan, thinking of Europe.
Anyway, yeah, man.
Let's say the mature type of crowd that may not be too inclined for this, the 160 all night.
Yeah, all night, yeah.
And because in Marshall's repertoire, I mean, Marshall's the king of soca. He goes groovy, sometimes he goes to power, and then he comes back to groovy. So then you have the both dynamics. And most of the other genres, they seem to have that groovy element and seem to be going more into it. Because if you look at soca now, there's a lot of more groovy element in it. So that versatility that Signal has brought to the bouillon table, I think is something unique and needed. Because if you recall in the early days of, let's say, WCK, Our Night, and this song is still a big hit, which means Champion Girl is still a major hit. So I believe it is something that we are not exploring enough. I'm not saying if we are afraid or we are to introduce the fans to the groovy type. But then just look at what actually broke the barrier for Signal.
For even Signal,
it was a groovy bouillon. And I feel that is one of the areas that we could possibly
honestly, it wasn't even Biola alone, because at that time when we realized people were appreciating that breakdown, we explored more. We did songs like Local. Local was also very good. Just this Carnival, we did Body Language. And we can be playing 3-4 o'clock in the morning on a show. Somebody will come bang that stage and say, play Body Language. So
but then it gives you that sort of colorful catalog.
Right.
Where you can actually appeal to several ages, several tastes, and very importantly, ages, because different people come to different activities, and you never know where a multi-billionaire producer may be and what he may, be kind to, and Signal Band may just be the one to get the prize.
Yeah, man.
If as an architect and a designer, are you satisfied with the way the festival is, or if you maybe had the authority to change or to tweak a few things, what would you do? What would you tweak? Or are you just satisfied with the way everything is and we can just continue the way it is?
No, I mean, changing is inevitable. I mean, I would love sometime to think about that question a little more, naturally. But, off the bat, is less, from speaking to people like Cornell and, speaking about the integration and how to say it now, boy? Let's just say integration for now, of what used to happen before between, the Dominican acts and the acts that come in for the festival. It seems like that was lost. So it's not something new I really trying to introduce. I really want that to be reintroduced. I know, you know, it's a really different era now, and I know sometimes how it is. You know, we ourselves, you know, when we tour and travel, we can see how hectic it is sometimes. You know, to get to a hotel, and sometimes all you want to do is steal a nap, and you know, the promoter might be telling you, boy, they want you to do this, that. But I feel we still have the duty to emphasize to the international acts the purpose of the festival, and is you know, that sort of interaction with Dominican acts can go a long way. You know, sometimes acts come down for the festival, and if you don't organically just bounce into them backstage when probably they might not even be in the mood to talk to anybody.
I want this interview to be different from possibly any other one you have to. That's why I'm digging into those directions. You are the face. You are the front man. What makes you most satisfied after a signal setup? You know, whether it's World Club Music Festival, whether it's Carnival, when everything is done. What makes you, Shelly, and Signal Band, you know, most satisfied when the performance, when the event is actually done, and then you're actually going to evaluate that night's work, that night's performance? We know for a lot of people, it's just the money. You just want the money, just get paid.
Yeah,
and you know, just want to make sure you get paid.
Yeah, honestly.
Apart from being paid, obviously.
Yeah, I want to, after every performance and you know, venture that we take on, I make sure that the standard was maintained. You know, for me, is the consistency, and the standard was maintained. The fans, and I'm coming from the fans have to be happy. The consumers, the customers, they are the customers, you know. And honestly, if they're not happy, then I feel like, you know, you failed.
Yeah.
You know, just even from the boat party we had, you know, some people messaging me, and I asking them, you know, how was your experience? And, you know, I want to really know, like, what it was like. Because some people can get kind of blinded. They might just be, oh, it's a signal, I was deadly.
Yeah.
But I want to know, like, did you feel like you got your money's worth?
Yeah.
You know, because you're a customer, you know, and the reason why I want to always see my fans as the customer is because I want them to see me as a businessman.
Yes.
You know,
yes. I love that.
That has to be reciprocated.
Yeah,
you know,
that.
so,
and your interest is to satisfy your customer because they are paying to come to be entertained by you.
Right. And I don't want them to see it as just, boy, yeah, I'm a fan of Signal and blah blah blah. I'm a fan of Shelly, and you know, it's just vibes. We're not going on vibes. This is a business, and I want you to spend your money to come and see me. I want to make sure that you get something that is worth it out of that. And because of that effort, honestly, Wadix, you know, there are people who have argued that Signal is not a booyah band. I saw a friend the other day, Signal is a soca band, somebody said. And you know why they say that?
Why?
It's just because we put that extra effort in performing and connecting with the audience. Booyah is lacking that. Yeah. You know, I feel like the booyah artists and sometimes the band's not really connecting with the audience. We believe that every performance is the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, we don't treat every performance like its own thing, treat every audience like its own
thing. No,
thing.
but then hand wave is not always connecting, eh?
Right.
Because we seem to be feeling in Dominica that the place have to just be mashing.
The place have to be mashing,
but then a full 5,000-10,000 rocking.
Right.
Dancing is also mashing it up.
Yes.
You know, because...
But even sometimes them just folding their arms and checking like, who are these guys?
Yes.
You have attained something, you know?
Because most times, let's say a big promoter out there comes to an event, he hardly dances.
He's watching.
He just come to watch and just observe and to see the reaction and listen to music.
And there's success to that
and
too.
You know, so then it doesn't really matter that much to him how much people that you know, hands in the air and shake it and what. I'm happy you're bringing that kind of dimension and that contagiousness with the audience and the level of satisfaction for the consumer, because lots of times we are so selfish and consumed in our egos and our own selves that we don't regard the consumer and we prefer the buck.
Once we get paid, you good.
Yes, once we get paid. You know, as long as we get paid. I mean, you have to be bad by that.
No, we love to get paid.
You have to be serious by that. But at the end of the day, which is more important, getting paid or satisfying the consumer? So that the consumer can go out and spread the message,
and
or the consumer can
keep on getting paid.
Exactly, and continue to get paid, because that's what is going to continue to get the band paid. In terms of Shelly, as we move to the next chapter, you are, let's say, like the baton, and I want to be careful. With your youth,
careful, somebody
with your youth,
yeah,
and your stature presently. you are actually having the baton of not just Bouillon but Dominica's music as the youngest and the baddest. That's how you call yourself, right?
We used to. I don't really
You're
call
not,
ourselves
you're
that
not
again.
the youngest and the baddest. See, before. But then you are now given the baton.
Yeah.
You are now given the baton to carry on because there are a lot of expectation from you. People may even feel that you may be one of the next ministers of youth and entertainment in Dominica.
Like, people feel so many things.
Yeah, of course.
And they're allowed to feel.
You know.
They're allowed to feel like
But then you are now given that baton to propel Dominica's music to the next level, where you see you and Signal Band making that kind of contribution to take it by maintaining, like you say, your consistency to that other level, crossing over, let's say, African continent, let's say further across to Europe. I know you're doing your stuff, let's say, in Belgium and Paris, but further across to, and even Latin and South America, because there was a pathway that was already made by Kadas Slipson Music through those particular areas, and the name, the Dominican name is already in those various areas.
Right.
Gordon Anderson told me he performed in over 13 African states. But then, and that's where the population is.
Right.
That's where you're talking about population. That battle, you know, how you see yourself taking that the next few years and bringing Signal across to you and bringing Dominica's name and the Bouillon music with you.
Well, those, you see, that step is a very, very important step. And it's going to take some sacrifice. No, because that is pretty much what we really lacking right now, you know, in Dominican music Bouillon, is the intentional marketing to those, like, the places that are out of the norm. Because there are a few places right now that the music will go organically.
Yeah.
And we have to start asking ourselves, okay, where will the music not go organically? Where do I have to take the music? And then we can start to figure out now how we taking the music there. And I already having those conversations with my management team, you know, starting to think about, because it's easy to get consumed in the pattern is we release music, people like it, a promoter realize that, okay, I can flip some money, I can make a profit, let me hire these guys, and then you just keep the cycle going because your phone keep on ringing and everybody want to book you, which is, I think that's the position Signal is in right now. The phone lines are busy.
Yeah.
You know, Jelani not getting a break.
Yeah.
You know, but they're going to come a time, and I want that time to be very soon, that it's not just about who call in. We have to take the time to say, okay, this is not about, and nobody didn't call me to go there, but I go into Ghana.
Oh, you have your dream, you want to hit Ghana.
I want to go Ghana, and this weekend.
Is that one of your dreams?
Pretty much, that's so. That for me is like
your mission and Signal's
my mission, Signal mission, Bouillon mission is to the music.
Go back to the motherland.
Is to go back to the motherland. The music too familiar to these people. That's where we got it.
Yeah.
You know, so let us go back and show them like, yo, this is how it is. And I'm not talking about TikTok marketing, you know, TikTok is organic.
Yeah.
Let's talk about intentional marketing, you know, getting the links on the ground. And let us go to Ghana, let us go to Nigeria, places like Kenya, and let us reintroduce them, because again, that is where we got it from. They're gonna be so familiar with the song, like it's going to blow our mind, you know. So, but again, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and all these things cannot just always organically get us there. Bouillon got to the level it is right now very organically, you know. And right now is the step to say, okay, what do we want, you know. Gordon Anderson sent me a message a few months ago, and he told me, like, you know, I need to consider that anytime I get to like Paris area, Shelly to be worth it, book a ticket and go to Reunion Island. You know, go to somewhere else and introduce them to the music. And honestly, I don't want to get caught in this cycle of waiting for a phone call, getting a gig, go and do it and go back at my home. You know, that going to get redundant. I'm going to get bored. And I do like to get
want to expose your music far and wide, and at the same time bringing Dominica's name. Where do you see Dominica's music now, and at the stage it is? What would you suggest? Because we have been hearing quite a bit of appeals from several people. Like just Sunday, I was listening to Peter Pross, asking for the government to get involved in supporting the Bouyon music. At what stage is Bouyon music now? And if you would have to make an appeal or to advise the government to put some resources into the genre, where would that be?
Well, perfect time to ask that question. I think it kind of tying back to what we just spoke about as well, because where the music is right now, again, is in a. I think the music is too much in a trendy space. Yeah. The trending, I afraid that word, Wadix.
Trend.
You see, a
trend is for time.
A trend is always short-lived.
For time, short-lived.
And I afraid that word. I do not want our music to be something that, boy, you remember when Bouyon was hot?
Yes, yes.
That is like my biggest fear.
Yeah.
So, right now, I want to actually commend everybody that got into that space, because sometimes what you need is for somebody to turn ahead and look at you and whatever, and that is what, you know, Alex, I know you have your reservation, but that is what Nasty Business did to Bouyon music. It turned the head.
Yeah.
Now we cannot, Nasty Business alone cannot sustain the music to get it to the next level. Yeah. That is just the reality.
It reached straight at
you know, it reached right at to reach.
It broke
the job. It broke the
barriers.
ice. It broke the barriers, and we have to be thankful for that. Now, the next step is to, because it's usually, sometimes what is trending is not always the most valuable thing out there.
Yeah.
You know, we have been in so many situations where we go to perform across the Caribbean, and the talk is, boy, the Bouyon bands mash up the place. One thing I hate to hear Bouyon band and Bouyon artists say is, that person afraid to play after me or whatever. I don't hear that, because you know why? In most cases, whether they play before you or after you, sometimes they collecting 3 times our salary.
Yes, yes, yes.
The value of the music not there. Whether we're making the whole crowd jump and wave and mash up the place and move fence there and do thing, the artists that come there and put on a proper show getting 3 times our salary.
Yeah, I know.
You know, and I've seen that happen in so many shows that signal on. And while I just sit down, I just pull up the analyzing the vibe, because I checking, boy, we really mash up the place there more, you know, and then me and Angela.
But then going home.
We're going home.
Going home now, your pay. Your pay is much less than, let's say, the others.
So what the conversations we have to have now is, how do we increase the value of the Bouyon, and, you know, let that we mashing up the place perspective
translate that into currency.
Yeah, man, you know, because that's what the soca artists have done. You know, they have created a value. And if we really do that thing properly, we can be more expensive than the soca artists. You know?
Absolutely. Yeah. But in terms of, let's say, the government input.
So then the government, So that's where the government, really and truly, music is entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
And I don't think entrepreneurship has to rely fully on the government. Naturally, you have to make the investments and as on a personal level. But where the government role starts is that Bouyon and the music is part of the tourism product.
Yeah.
So the same way we want to market Dominica as a destination, the festivals, all of that, to these new markets, that is where Bouyon
should be part of the plan.
Bouyon should be part of the plan.
Part of the marketing plan.
And Bouyon should not just be part of the plan, but Bouyon should have its own plan. Mm-hmm. There should be a plan for the destinations, a plan for the festivals, a plan for the music. You know, and because it's not, I don't want the DFC and DDA to create a plan for Signal Band, a plan for Triple K, you know.
The plan should come from the band.
That's our business model. But there should be a plan for the music, you know, from these people.
But then, I mean, saying that egos do clash and we are aware of it, how are the bands going to come together to formulate that plan?
Well, that is the hard part. I will be honest. I'll be a realist.
Are you close to the various bands around?
Yeah, man. I mean, now is a time in Bouyon music.
I heard Carnival time you had a little scuffle with one of the major bands.
Naturally, Carnival time is high tension.
High tension. Everybody wanted to take the advantage.
According to Cornell. Everybody want to be number one.
Well, yes, and that's normal. From Calypso go way up, everybody want to be the champion.
The carnival,
but everything is now settled and the egos are now back to normal.
I wouldn't say that. You know, I would say that carnival time things are a bit heightened, and you know the tension is a bit higher in the air. But outside of carnival, usually things die down, and you know we embark on the mission, everybody doing their thing. And, you know, just the other day in Barbados, we had a Booyah showcase, and it was Triple K, myself, Trilogy, and we put on a great show. And, you know, Triple K musicians accompanied me, and some people say that was AI because they never thought they would see that, but that's how
business. That's
business, and
business.
They don't understand that there's always a bigger picture. And
is Signal presently as we speak? It's now 5 minutes past 12 o'clock in Dominica and the rest of the Eastern Caribbean, and today's the 20th of August. Is Signal Band the number one Bouillon band in Dominica presently?
Wadix, we are the top and we're not number 2. That's the line I put in the song, and I believe it.
You have that line. You put that line. What's the line?
The line is, if I was you, I would hit my band too, because my band at the top and we're not number 2.
So you see, it's number 1. So you safely say right now in your mind, based on everything else that is going on around, Signal Band is the number 1 Bouillon force.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to just be diplomatic about it.
Not diplomatic.
But
I mean,
the way I
your
see
conviction.
My conviction is that
based on
I think
music, catalog, rotation, gigs.
Signal is the most impactful.
Resonate how you guys resonate. Age difference, the variation in age groups. Presently, Signal Band is number 1.
We are the most
I understood
impactful
recently that
now.
you guys had some issues, visa issues. Is that truth? Any truth to that?
Yeah. I mean, there have been challenges regarding visas and stuff, work permits and stuff.
Why?
And, boy, it's very complicated. You know, it's beyond the sit down on the radio and talk about. You know, it's really,
but then what are the issues so we can possibly, you know?
I mean, stuff we're working on behind the scenes. But you know, there's some things that are out of our control. You know,
is it because of Donald Trump, the new president,
the US
and
administration,
the policies?
the US administration,
or the US administration?
The US administration have their own internal changes and shifts, which makes now
so it is more
time.
Difficult to get work permits now.
It's now always a different time. Well, I mean, the process was always unpredictable. Yeah, like denials and stuff, they've always been happening. Like now it's just kind of tougher. I think also now we're battling with still a lot of people taking the illegal route and getting caught.
Just getting the normal visas, visitors visas, and trying to work on that.
The reality is
and that is kind of challenging for those who want to go the legitimate.
Yeah. Because every time that is done, that is a red flag. That is a flag.
I know. And then the destination gets a red flag.
Yeah.
So then other bands are being looked closely and scrutinized closely.
We have that. That is a factor.
So you are not allowed to travel to the US as a band as we speak.
Yeah, pretty much no.
Okay, but you can travel as a solo artist.
Yeah.
So you will not be represented. Signal Band will not be represented in the US.
For now.
What about the UK?
And we've been working on it.
What about
the UK? Actually, I'm traveling to London tomorrow.
And solo.
It's solo, but the band was supposed to do that. We had a very huge misunderstanding and issue with a promoter that actually booked Signal Band for this weekend in the UK. And you know, it was on our calendar.
This weekend is Notting Hill Carnival.
Yeah. Contract signed, everything, and trust me, it was that. As they like to say, something like this in the matter in court.
Okay, it's okay. You can hire Mark Murray for that.
No,
Mark Murray have never lost a case.
That is his own issue.
In about 75 cases. but then is there something, let's say the Ministry of Foreign Affairs can represent the bands to procure in their work permits? Or is there something even bigger than that?
They've been doing their part.
They have been playing their part.
I wouldn't lie when called upon.
But is it like they could make a formal representation?
Probably.
You still have to go through Barbados. Like, let's say all the bands come together, go to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, have a discussion to see how they can get their work permits together through, let's say, the government intervention, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs intervention. Yeah,
I mean, there could be some next level of conversation. But I will say they've been doing their part. Even recently they was closer to the carnival time this year, a few months ago. You were there?
Yes, I was
there. So they did a part where, we had that sort of hearing with the embassy. But you see, the embassy and the United States Citizen and Immigration Services, the USCIS, is separate from the US Embassy.
Yes.
And you have to get past that, the USCIS, before you get to get Barbados. And a lot of people just think of Barbados, but you have to get through that first petitioning phase and all of that. And a lot of artists, even between last year and this year, have got stuck. Some of the most popular artists in Dominica get stuck at that petitioning phase.
I know.
So that Bobby is not even in the competition yet.
Will we see any new music for this year's Jubilee year?
Yeah, man, we releasing music year round. You know, we're doing this fully committed, and we have something that coming. I know you like it because the chorus says Leibo.
Divo! Leibo! But Shelly, you guys had, I mean, at some point in time, you guys were really into, well, normal bouillon and soca, but also a lot of Creole also.
Yeah, and Kadas.
A lot of Kadas. You all took part in the NCCU Kadas Lipso competition. Migs, you want to take a call? Let's take it, man. Let's take it for Shelly, man. Good morning. This is Shelly in the building. Creole Heart Beat. Good afternoon. Person gone, Claire? Okay, so all right, that's no problem. So Seabo should be released. Let's say
Leibo releasing in September.
Leibo.
Leibo features a big act out of Guadeloupe.
Okay.
Well. Leibo will also be merchandised in Madras for the season. So on Fridays when people go into work, they'll be wearing Leibo.
Biggs, you know you have to give me a little something.
A bomb drop.
You have to get the thing when Shelly's in the building.
You have a bomb drop.
We taking the call or what? Let's take the call. Good afternoon for Shelly.
Hello, Wadix.
Hi, my dear.
Good morning, and Shelly, good morning.
Good morning to you.
Wadix, what a bright young man.
Yes, I'm
You
so proud of
understand?
him. Yes.
When he talk about the music and what he has in mind. But I also want to say, Wadix, he has to give kudos to his mother.
Yes, he did so.
Ambrose, beautiful. And Wadix, let me tell you, I hear you say about she ran around before she signed that check. Wadix, she would always sign that check. Wadix, I work with his mother in education. Everything was Shelly.
Yes.
Wadix, she couldn't talk without mentioning Shelly. So you have to give your mom kudos. And one thing, Wadix, I can never forget that Shelly sang that song for us, Annie By Your Love, St. Alphonsus. But Shelly came down from the choir into the crowd. Wadix boy, and he had us rocking.
In church.
I can
In
never
the church.
forget. What? In church.
Right.
You can remember that, St. Alphonsus.
Yes.
St. Alphonsus, he was in
So
the choir.
maybe the church did some more songs like that, man.
Yeah, it was I think it was single parents Sunday. We had to take care of, and then his mom, asked him to come and sing for us. Boys, Wadix, that was great. So I want to say kudos and all the best to you.
Thank you.
Shelly, you're well brought up, I can tell you that.
Thank you.
Well brought up. Just keep on going, right?
And I appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks a lot, my dear. And that's the beauty of the catalog again. More calls coming in, Dr. Mix. Let's take another call for Shelly in the building. Good afternoon to you, Creole Heart Beat.
Hey, Wadix.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
And Shelly's.
Give man greetings.
Wadix.
Yes.
I like the debate that young man have, the way he debate and the way he want to carry the music.
Yeah.
He talk about he want the thing for long, like Bob Marley music for legacy.
Yeah.
And the way he debating that he would like to carry the music in the four corners of the world, from Africa. One of the advice I would like to ask him, do you ever think of forming a coalition, like with the young African people and the young Spanish people, like when he's singing English, that he could have them singing in their language at the same time on the music, so the people that cannot understand the English would be able to understand what they're saying in Boyo. And talk about the Boyo is a product for the tourism. It's a true thing, what it is, because these people don't know that music. Just like when Bob Marley come on the scene with the reggae, that's why he hit it so hard.
Yeah.
Wadix, as a young man, I like how you're grooving him up for marketing and strategy.
Respect.
It's not just about fame.
Yeah.
Wadix, I wish you could help me. There was a big show somewhere in the 50s, Stockholm Festival in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
I think it was organized by a promoter from Hollywood.
Yeah.
It just something like 2 million people for like a week or so, 2 weeks.
Yep.
Babies born, people get pneumonia in rain. But one of the things I admire in that show, when they was opening that show, they had a spiritual leader praying. And you know at those times, black people wasn't so popular in America, it's more white people. People sleep, Wadix a rainfall, people sleep in the bonnet, people climb trees. And you never no fight. It's just pneumonia somebody gets from rain. What advice you would give the young man there, like before his show? I know you always sing gospel music. What would the advice you would give him before he open his show? What would be the prayer you would give for the youth?
Okay, that's it, caller. Thank you very much. I'll allow Shelly to answer. I mean, you see, the thing about this, I call them, well, he said they're an empire now. They have the management team and they have their stuff out of the box. So they have been doing their homework. Right. They evaluate their performances. They evaluate 5 more minutes. They evaluate the performances. They do their stuff in a particular way. So prayer is one of the things I guess is very important to him. And knowing him, I'm almost sure that prayer is part of his repertoire. More, let's take a last call. Dr. Miggs. Let's take a last call there for Shelly. Okay, but call Shelly. Let's go to the thing, Dr. Miggs. The new thing that's going to come out. Give us a little something. You got a little something there. How you are the number one doctor, you know? Give us a little something. But Shelly, for the news, let's go.
You mean the new thing that come out? You reckon he have it already?
No, he should have a.
That's what I find in. Boy, you doing your talk show, father? What you expect me to?
Not the new thing. A suspense.
No, I don't. I haven't plugged up because I haven't plugged up because there is no.
So Shelly, tell us about that new project because we just have 4 minutes.
The last one you released, right?
The one you're going to do now. The one coming.
Oh, the one coming. Yeah. Well, let me touch quickly on the one that our last project was Where Did You Come From? Yeah. And it has been doing really well as well. You know, that one have a nice pop kind of feel to it. And it has been doing really well. You know, we in planning stages of a music video for that. And for labor, we feel like, you know, it's the right time, especially the independence time, you know, and that's a catchphrase, you know, people going to relate to that because people have been saying that. And, you know, it's not just in Dominica, it's St. Lucia, all these people going to be feeling that vibe. So, the
whole Creole world.
The whole Creole world will feel it, and even in the English speaking too, because it's a simple phrase that
when it's good, say it's good.
Yeah, you know, and even in English, people say that colloquially. So, that is the project for September, and we'll be releasing that in September. Featuring an artist out of Guadeloupe and many more surprises. If I keep on saying I'll sell out some things.
Okay. So anything else in October?
Well, October going to be filled with performances, and we've been, you know, planning for the schedule for that season and thinking about Creole Music Festival and how we're going to represent ourselves and that. The expectations are high for sure for us for the World Creole Music Festival, so we want to make sure that we live up to those expectations and even exceed them.
Are you planning to exceed last year's performance?
Definitely. Every year, the goal is to do that. Some people start their favorites. You know, people say their favorite performance wasn't the one last year, it was the one before that and all of that. And you'll expect that. Some people resonate, and that's because we don't try to duplicate or replicate that performance.
Well, Shelly, you have events to match up with that calendar reading for the next calendar reading. I tell it you.
Big up Cecil Joseph one time. He just be waiting.
He waiting for this. Cecil Joseph waiting for the next calendar reading.
Like that.
So you have been documenting your data.
Yeah. The good thing about having a team is that I don't ever have to write down anything that happened, you know. If I open my phone, no one can go on a Google Doc. It have every single month and everything that happened in it.
Absolutely.
So big up to the people behind the scenes that do what they have to do.
Absolutely. Final word, Shelly, but I just want to remind our viewers and listeners that the newsletter for Creole Heart Beat, that's the 3rd edition, is now available, and you could check us out and read some good stuff in there. The newsletter produced by Jerry Williams of Creole Heart Beat. It's our 3rd, by the way, and it's especially for this year's independence season. We'll be doing a 4th and a 5th. Final words from you, Shelly, as we get set for another major program.
Yeah, man. So I want to wish the entire Signal Band team and family happy 15th anniversary, 15th birthday. Today is the actual day, and you know, today you might see us somewhere having a drink or pose somewhere, you know, because
so 30 seconds as our beautiful, just look at her, that beautiful queen. Okay, I want you to sing happy birthday to her.
To her?
The signal happy birthday so that she can hear. The signal happy birthday so that she can listen to. She's listened by Dr. Mix, so let's go.
That was signal happy birthday, no?
Yes, let's go with happy birthday for signal. Signal, your signal
Yeah,
happy birthday.
signal happy birthday.
Yes, let's go with it.
Happy birthday to the band, man. The band that run in the land.
The band that run in the land, I love that. This was another Creole Heart Beat program.
I know you like them things.
So, the band that run in the land, signal band. I love that. The band that run in the land, signal band. Happy birthday to you also from us at DBS Radio. Hope that you can continue to do what you're doing. And from Creole Heart Beat, we just want to always have that avenue so you could come and express yourself.
Yeah, man. Big up.
As usual, brilliant. And my brother, I really hope that the Father will continue to bless, guide, and protect you and your band. And you know the way you approach the business, I think it's a formula that a lot of bands and even institutions in Dominica should emulate. So once again, congratulations and happy birthday to Signal Band. One love from DBS Radio. Dr. Biggs, give him a happy birthday before you go there.
I will have Francine do that. Francine, come
and say happy birthday to Shelly, man.
A nice happy birthday, to one of the baddest bands on the island. Of course, the Signal Band.
One of the baddest.
we have a few bad ones. Okay?
Francine, don't make me influence you,
Happy birthday to them, like happy birthday. Just sing it, just try. No? Okay,
no, we're not doing that. Okay. But, I do wish them well. Of course, they've been doing it for quite a few years, quite impressive, and continue to build on the skills and everything that they deliver to the public. So on behalf of Flo Dominica, of course, happy birthday to you. That's as best that it gets.
Thank you.
This is very much appreciative, I must say. And Shelly, once again, continue to do what you're doing. May God continue to bless you and Signal Band. You've really been a pillar of strength, and really, it's like effervescent. You guys just really bring out the best of all the generations, and I want to congratulate you for what you have done. As ambassador, you have really made me proud, and God bless you, my brother.
Thank you.
Dr. Mix, nous que nous avons, mais c'est mesdames jusqu'à mercredi.
Jaconet.